guys, today I'm going to show you guys some skincare build hacks. I did the same thing a couple months ago and you guys seemed to enjoy it so much, so I decided to make another video, but this time with other brands. But before I get started, the game passes that you'll be needing are the Advanced Placing and Transform Plus Game Pass. So the first brand we're going to be doing is Bubble, and the first product we're going to be working on are these ones. So first, place a half sphere and resize it to the size being shown. Then place a vertical cylinder and resize it to the size being shown as well. Now use the transform tool to rotate the sphere 180 degrees and place the cylinder on top. Then clone the cylinder, resize it a bit smaller and place it on top of the cylinder. Now for the color, I'll put the color code on the screen for you, but I did the purple one as an example. For the next product, we're doing these ones. They're kind of similar shape-wise, but one of them's obviously taller. First, place a beveled vertical cylinder and resize it to the size being shown. Then custom place a standard round rod and use the transform tool to move it to the center like so. And lastly, resize the rod slightly bigger and you're pretty much done. Now for the colors, I'll put the color code on the screen, but for the lid, remember to change the material to plastic. I kind of forgot to do that in the video, but make sure you go ahead and change it. The next hack is basically the exact same thing, but extend the cylinder slightly longer, then clone the rod from the previous build, and then use the transform tool to, move it to the center, and you're pretty much done. And once again, I'll put the color code on the screen for you guys. The next hack are these moisturizers. First, place the cylinder and resize it a bit smaller, then clone the cylinder and place it on top. Resize it to the shortest point possible, and you're pretty much done as well. Like, it's really easy, and all the color codes will be shown on the screen for you guys. The last hack is this face oil. First, place down a custom standard rod and use the transform tool to move the rod, then resize it to the biggest point possible. Then custom place another rod and move it to the center, resize it a tiny bit smaller, and you're pretty much done. And these are the color codes. The next brand we're working on today is Sol de Janeiro. Place down a semi-transparent vertical cylinder and resize it to the size being shown. Then place down a vertical cylinder and resize it to the size being shown and place it on top. Now there's a lot of different colors for this, as there's many different types of scents to it. So I'll put all the color codes on the screen for you, but I just did some of it as demonstration. And just a heads up, not all of them needs the color code, so you can just find the color on the color palette, like the gold one that was shown on the screen. The next product is the Bum Bum Cream. This one's pretty simple. Just place down a half sphere and resize it, then use the transform tool to rotate it 180 degrees. Now place down a cylinder and resize it so it fits the sphere, and use the transform tool to place it on top of the half sphere. And once again, there are many different colors to this, so I'll put the color code on the screen. Now we're making deodorants. This one's kind of similar to the bubble moisturizers though. Place down the cylinder and resize it to the smallest point possible. Then clone it and place it on top of the cylinder and resize it a bit shorter, and you're done. Also, the color codes are pretty much the same as before, but I'll put it on the screen for you guys. And lastly, we're making a shampoo and conditioner bottle. First, place down a half sphere and a vertical cylinder and resize them. Then you want to use the transform tool to rotate the half sphere 180 degrees and use the transform tool to place the cylinder on top. And lastly, place down another half sphere, resize it, and place it on the cylinder. Now for the colors, it's also pretty much the same thing as well, but I'll put it on the screen for you guys anyways. For the next brand, we're doing Gisu. I don't really know how to pronounce it, so if I say it wrong, just ignore it. But anyways, the first thing that we're gonna be building are these lip oils. Place down 2 cubes and resize it. I'll put the measurements on the screen, and then use the transform tool to rotate it just slightly. Then place the second cube on top of the first cube using the transform tool again and rotate it. Then place a standard round rod and move it to the center like this. If you want other colors, I'll put the color codes on the screen right now. The next hack is this thing. I'm not really sure what it is, but I'll put a picture on the screen for you guys. Place a beveled cylinder and resize it. Then you want to color it white and clone the rod that we previously used. Move it to the center and resize it a little bit bigger. Then clone the rod again, but this time move it so it's slightly higher than the previous rod and resize it a bit smaller. The next one is the hair perfume. Place down a beveled vertical cylinder and resize it. Then you want to color it gold and then clone the rod and move it to the center. And the last thing is to resize the rod a bit bigger. The next product is the hair oil. First place down a semi-transparent cube and color it gold. Then place the standard round rod and use the transform tool to move it to the center. And lastly, do the same thing but resize the rod a bit smaller. The last hack is this hair serum. So first you want to clone a rod and resize it to about this much. Then clone it again and resize it a bit bigger and move it to the center. And for the last part is to do the same thing but raise it a bit higher and resize it to the smallest point. And that's it for the Gissu part. Now we're moving on to the last brand, which is Rare Beauty. So for this brand, it's going to be quite short and simple since there isn't really much to it. So first what you want to do is place down 2 cubes and a sphere and resize them. All of the measurements will be shown on the screen as well, just for your guys' reference. For the color, the shade can be whatever shade you want, but the code I'm typing here is for Hope. Then all you have to do is stack them on top of each other like this and use the transform tool to move the sphere a bit into the cube, if that makes any sense, and you're pretty much done. And the lid's code is written on the screen for your guys' reference as well. Now for the next one, we're doing foundation. It's pretty much the exact same thing except resizing everything slightly larger. The foundation shade can be whatever shade you want as well, and the lid's code is also on the screen. Then I just cloned the sphere from the previous build and resized it a bit bigger. Then use the transform tool to move it down a bit and you're done. Anyways guys, that's it for today's video and I really hope you guys enjoyed. The main reason why I made this video is because in some of my shorts, I keep getting comments asking to make a tutorial at least once a day. If you've watched this far, just to let y'all know, when you comment, make a tutorial on the vanity, I've done that like a year ago, so maybe check my channel before you comment. Also, one thing you guys might have noticed is that I have not posted a long video in like 3 months, but I am back on YouTube. Not really sure for how long though, since I post like once a month. I have posted a couple shorts here and there though, so I hope y'all still stayed entertained. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hoped you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn the notification bell on so you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you guys for watching and bye!